All right, so now that you have a basic understanding of the structure of an atom, where they go, where the subatomic particles go, now let's look at where I got these numbers from. How do we know how many protons, neutrons, or electrons an atom has? So how we know is by looking at the element square, all right? And these are found on the periodic table. So this is the element square for carbon. So each square on the periodic table gives a minimum of the name of the element, which we can see here, carbon, its symbol, which is here as C, atomic number, which is up here in the left-hand column, and then the relative atomic mass, which is here. So make sure you write that stuff down. All right, so let's look at this again. This is a different element. This is helium. So the atomic number, remember, is right here, and this tells us how many protons we have. This also tells us the number of electrons. So again, the atomic number tells us the number of protons and the number of electrons. So make sure you fill that in on your notes. All right, next here is our element symbol or chemical symbol, which is kind of like a nickname for the element. So for helium, it's He. And then the element name is helium. And then down here at the bottom is our atomic weight. And what the atomic weight is the number of protons plus the neutrons. So here you have to do a little bit of math. So if we're looking here, we know that let's see, if we're trying to find protons, right, we're going to look here, and we know there are 2 protons. Remember, this number here also tells us the number of electrons. So electrons is also 2. All right. So now to find the neutrons, you have to do a little bit of math. So we have the atomic weight here. So we need to do different color. So it's atomic weight equals the number of protons, which is here. So we've got 4 equals 2 plus, all right, so we don't know the number of neutrons. So 2 plus what is going to give us 4? So 2 plus what equals 4? So 2 plus 2 is 4. So that's how we know how many neutrons there are. All right. So again, we found the number of protons by looking at this number. We also found the number of electrons by looking at that same number, the atomic number. And then to find the neutrons, we had to get the atomic weight here and do a little bit of math. Because remember, it's protons plus neutrons. So if we know these 2 numbers, that's how we find the neutrons. All right, we're going to do a practice here. So using what you know about atomic structure, what does the 4 mean? So what does this 4 down here tell us? We just did this together. So the 4 is the atomic weight, which is the number of protons and neutrons. All right, here's our atom. All right, we've got 2 protons and 2 neutrons. What does the 2 mean? So what does this number 2 mean? The number 2 tells us the number of protons and the number of electrons. So we also know that there's 2 electrons here. All right, and then what does this He mean? So this He is the abbreviation or nickname for the element. All right, now you're going to try this using this nitrogen element square. All right, so how many protons does this element have? It has 7 protons, right? And we could tell this by looking at this number, the atomic number. How many electrons does this element have? It also has 7. We're looking at the same number here. This number tells us the number of protons and electrons. So what is the weight of this element? What is the atomic weight or mass? The atomic weight or mass is 14, right? Remember, this number is going to help us find the number of neutrons. So next question, how many neutrons does this element have? All right, so we're going to do a little math. So number of neutrons, you do 14, which is this number here, minus 7 equals 7. Remember, this is the number of protons plus neutrons. So if we subtract the protons, then we'll figure out how many neutrons are there. What is the name of the element? The element is nitrogen, and we can tell by looking right there. And then last question, what is the chemical symbol? The chemical symbol is N, which we can see right here.